Right for business, Joe, are we? Okay, councillors, we're in business. So welcome everybody to the ordinary meeting of council Wednesday, 2nd of July 2025. And if we could open up with a prayer, please, Councillor Berry.
Did you say Bingham or Berry?
Berry. Is there something wrong with this?
You?
Councillor Berry, how's that?
Sorry, I can't.
Right.
Thank you. Almighty God, be with us as we work for the people of the Shire of Moorabool. Grant us wisdom that we may care for the Shire as true stewards of your creation. May we be aware of the great responsibilities placed upon us. Help us to be just in all our dealings, and may our work prosper for the good of all. Amen.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor, the pressure's on you.
Yep. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting. I pay my respects to their elders past and present and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. For those that are unaware, all of our meetings are recorded for the benefit of the Moorabool News and the Star Weekly. So, and that's basically to make sure that everything's correct, or can be checked anyway. So we're moving on to who we've got here, and Councillor Ward's online tonight, up on the screen. So we're all present, Mr CEO. So no apologies. Could I get someone to confirm the minutes from last meeting? Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Thank you, Councillor Minari. Those in favour? So carried. At this point, I'd ask if there's any conflicts of interest. Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to acknowledge a disclosure of conflict of interest in item 11.2, which relates to the West Moorabool Heritage Study, of which our property is included. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Just remind me if I go too forward. Thank you. Right.
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Minari, yes.
I have a conflict of interest, sorry, on confidential ordinary council. Should I mention that now? I'm assuming I mention it now on 18.2.
Okay, no worries. Just give us the yell when we go to confidential later. No problem. Righto. We've got no one here for public question time, Mr CEO? No. Right, so no petitions, which puts us straight into business, community planning and development reports, which we have 3 speakers I'm here for on 11.1, which is a planning scheme amendment, C103 Moorabool, Hopetoun Park North, consideration of submissions. And I've got Mr Ross Closter here, have I? G'day, Ross. Yes, we come at the front, there's a button in front of the microphone, and it should go green, and that means we're racing at Randwick. So push the button, there you go. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go.
Is that?
The floor is yours, you've got 3 minutes.
Fantastic.
And we've got a bit of leeway.
Mayor, councillors and council officers, thanks for the opportunity to come and speak to you tonight in relation to this item. I'm one of the developers for the subject land. Subject land has been included as a future residential growth area in the Bacchus Marsh planning scheme and the Bacchus Marsh urban growth framework since 2018. How long's that? 7 years. We've been working closely with the council officers since that time to do all the technical work which underpins the planning scheme amendment before you tonight. There's been, the amendment's been on exhibition and attracted 31 submissions, and some of them have been resolved, some of them remain unresolved. The most appropriate course of action from here is to adopt the officer recommendation before you tonight and send the amendment to an independent planning panel who will assess all of the submissions, including those other speakers tonight. With that, I thank you and urge you to adopt the recommendation before you.
Thanks, Ross. Any questions, councillors? No? Any questions of officers? No? Thank you. Good on you, Ross. Now, if I could ask Ms Claire Mizzi, please. There's a button on the front there, same as before. The light should come on and you'll be racing. There you go. There, you've got 3 minutes and away you go.
Thank you for the opportunity. We're opposing this development for multiple reasons, both personal and environmental. The proposed property has been used for agricultural purposes for the last at least 20 years or so, originally for livestock, and in more recent years it's been used for crops. Development of this land goes against Moorabool's rural land use strategy that is supposed to provide productive supposed to protect productive agricultural land. The proposed development does not respect the existing character of Hopeton Park or the wider area, with no blocks being that small within a 5-kilometre radius. Current residents that moved there for a more secluded rural lifestyle will be inundated with more traffic, noise, lights and pollution, and many neighbouring properties gaining probably 3 neighbours on their back fence. The impact this will also have on the local flora and fauna will be detrimental. It is proposed that the development will be a desirable form of housing for the second and third home buyers, yet the lack of infrastructure and with no current public transport, surely people are going to be more likely to look to Darley and Melton for the same size blocks with better access to town. The appeal of living in Hopeton Park is for its acreage and its rural lifestyle. A lot of the concerns made in the submissions that have already been pushed onto the Department of Travel, State Education and the state government, making them easy for council to dismiss. But the fact is they do very little for Moorabool Shire as it is, and even with the new hospital, which will only have around 274 beds, it will hardly suffice the current population, let alone more homes. The police, doctors and other emergency services are already under pressure, and a lot of people are already sending their kids out of the Shire for high schools. The current proposal does not benefit the current residents. A coffee shop or a convenience store versus losing their lifestyle just doesn't add up. Having urban blocks so close to acreage will create an incapable lifestyle. If this development is to go ahead, I urge you to consider protecting the land for future generations. By amending it to mirror the surrounding area with at least 3-acre blocks, dropping down to 1-acre blocks, you will allow families to also be able to grow their own food, which aligns with the 2030 agenda for more sustainable living. Just allow our kids to grow up on a little bit of land without living hours away from the city. Let them be able to experience the joy of growing their own veggies, collecting fresh eggs, enjoying the local wildlife, and just being able to run around in the safety of their own property. Keep Hopeton Park in line with the identity of Bacchus Marsh. Keep it a regional town, and just keep it acreage. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've got a question of the council officers. Just for clarification, just to be clear, the recommendation tonight is not about forming a council's position, is that correct? And it will come back to council in a future date? Is that...
Mr Bazoo now.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll pass over to Kate Barkley, the manager, to respond.
Thanks, Henry. Through the chair, so what's before you tonight is considering a resolution to appoint a planning panel to hear the submissions that we've received in relation to the amendment.
Yeah, so just subsequent to that, I get that. So then after that's taken place, then it will come back to council to then formulate a position, is that correct?
Correct. So once we receive the panel report, officers will prepare a further report to council to consider that report and any future progression in terms of whether or not we're proceeding with the adoption or something different.
Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Any other questions, councillors?
I just have one of officers, but I'll wait until later. That's all. Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions for the speaker? No? You can be excused. Councillor Sullivan.
I'm just reading point 2 of the recommendation, and I'll draw councillors' attention to it. What would be negotiating between the submitters on the proposed changes to the amended documents? So I'm just curious what negotiation would take place if if we go with point 1 of the recommendation, it's go to a panel and review everything. So what purpose does point 2 fulfil, please?
Mr President, okay.
Through the chair. So the second dot point there as part of the recommendation would enable officers to engage as part of that and through our executive manager planning and development, engage in that panel process. And there may be other things that arise as part of that public process, that there may be consideration of other changes to perhaps the development plan overlay, which requires certain, requirements as part of that process. So there may be changes to some of the subsequent planning amendment documentation and the like.
Councillor Sullivan, yes.
I guess it was just sort of that the wording is to negotiate with submitters on proposed changes. So if this is in line with council making some changes as a result of discussion at the panel, there is a link, but this one just seems to
It's disconnected.
disconnect, that's all. Anyway, I accept.
Could you hear that up the back? Yes. Yeah. Just no. You can move across, but if you want to. But anyway, right. We do have another speaker, but no.
Online.
Online.
So
So we're going to cut Rod off.
they'll allow them in just now.
Okay, thank you.
So it's Ali Camilleri.
Ali Camilleri, please.
Good evening, councillors, fellow residents and all involved. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes? Okay. I'd like to begin by thanking the council for the opportunity to speak and apologise for not being able to attend in person. Oh, there seems to be a delay. I think one of the mics needs to be muted.
You're getting feedback. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Well, there seems to be a delay. I think one of the...
Okay. What I'll do, I'll turn mine off and see if that helps. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Well, there seems to be a delay. I think one of the...
Ellie, do you have you got any other equipment operating in the background that could be picking up on you, or like is there another system there, or I can't see you because you're not on the screen.
She also hasn't turned on.
How's that now? Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's better. And can you turn your camera on, please?
I sure can. Give me a moment.
There we go.
Okay.
We have a split screen. Yes.
Oh,
There you
hang
go.
on.
Look at that. Right, the floor is yours. There's no feedback, and you're on camera, so you've got 3 minutes to.
All right, okay. So I'm a resident of Cowans Road, Hopetoun Park, and our property directly borders the western edge of the proposed Hopetoun Park North development. Like many, we submitted our objections and were disheartened by the responses, lacking in real solutions for the residents most affected. We feel our household has not been properly considered in the planning of this development. We live directly below the escarpment and have 2 young children. Our concerns for privacy, safety and environmental impact are genuine, and we would hope they can be addressed. Our key concerns include the removal of native flora and fauna, increased traffic risks entering and exiting Cowans Road, and significant loss of privacy due to homes and public areas overlooking our property. Also, a lack of protection due to infrastructure and the disconnect there, and the real risk of vehicles potentially losing control and plunging down the escarpment. We respectfully request the Council implement preventative measures now rather than waiting for issues to arise down the track. Our suggestions and solutions should be considered. Number 1 is privacy. Prevent direct lines of sight into our home and yard by avoiding double-storey builds along the western boundary, and more importantly, increasing the vegetation buffer with dense native planting, fencing and access control, fence off the revegetation area on top, ideally with timber or barbed fencing to prevent public access, protect wildlife, and reduce the risk of trespassing into our private land where our children play. Traffic safety. Cowans Road is already really difficult to access safely. The development will add significant traffic volume, please consider a slip lane or other merging assistance near Anthony's Cutting, vehicle containment, install appropriate bollards or barriers along the Western Edge Road to prevent vehicles from accidentally entering the drop zone and endangering our family. Overall, we care deeply about where we live. We've worked really hard to make it a home here. We support responsible growth, but it must be done in a way that respects and protects existing residents. We are more than happy to meet on site and discuss this further. Thank you all for listening. We simply ask to be considered for our family's safety and privacy as this development moves forward.
Thank you, Ali. If I could just keep you there for a minute, and we'll just see if there's any questions of the Speaker. Councillor Berry.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I don't have a question of the Speaker, but I do have a question for officers.
Yes, by all means.
Thank you. I just had picked up on a lot of the submissions already that there was many of them said impacts on flora and fauna, and Ali Camilleri did mention that, the impacts on flora and fauna. So my question to officers, is it clear that this has been dealt with through all proper authorities in the process and considering their concerns?
Mr Bazooka, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The answer is yes, but I'll hand over to Kate to provide just clarification.
Through the Chair, in response to the councillor's question, the application, the rezoning proposal has been referred to the Department of Environment, Energy and Climate Change for a response. We have had some feedback from them. We're satisfied that the areas have been looked at appropriately, but obviously as part of this panel process, further discussion may occur in relation to that. There are some environmental areas that are proposed to be protected as part of this through environmental significance overlay as well, and those will be the areas set aside for conservation. So to answer your question, we're reasonably satisfied at this point, and then the rest will come out through that panel process.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bingham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to touch on my last recent question, just in regards to timeframes, do we have an indication of how long this process is going to take and when council can expect it to come back to a meeting to formulate a position on this?
Through the Chair.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
They're very dulcet tones. They're very hard to hear, that's all.
As part of this process, so following tonight's resolution, if it's a resolution to seek that panel to be appointed, that process has been earmarked for that end of July, sort of August period, may roll into September, depending on timing. We'd then need to have that panel hearing. There will be a report prepared by that panel that's appointed to hear those submissions. Then a further report would need to come back to council. Given the timing of the receipt of that panel report, it's unlikely that it would be before Christmas. It wouldn't be until probably February, March in the new year before council would receive a further report in relation to this amendment.
Councillor Bingham. Any other questions, councillors, of the Speaker or of officers? No? Thank you. Thank you, Ali. You'll stay online for what happens anyway, I'd imagine. So, councillors, you have a recommendation in the papers in front of you. Do I have anyone?
I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Thank you, Councillor Berry as a seconder. Is there any dissent? Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. So this is yours, Councillor Sullivan.
Mr Mayor, just this, as I said at the start of the meeting, this over conflict of interest in item 11.2 and will vacate the chamber.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Okay, councillors, we're on to 11.2, Planning Scheme Amendment C085 Moorabool, West Moorabool Heritage Study Implementation. We have no speakers to this item. Council, any questions? Councillor Minari? No. We have a recommendation in our papers. Is there someone who'd like to move it? Oh, sorry. Yes, someone would like to second it. Thank you, Councillor Berry. Is there any dissent? Those in favour? So carried. If someone could please get Councillor Sullivan. And thanks, Lee. Just yell out, Councillor Ward, if I miss you. Right. We do. No. Councillor. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Righto. Okay. Righto. 11.3, payment in lieu of rates. We call it the PILLAR scheme for energy storage units. Councillors, any questions? No?
Mr Mayor?
Oh, yes, sorry. Councillor Ward, yes.
I was wondering if I could possibly move this with an amendment. I just wanted to add a point 3, if I may, and that Moorabool Shire write to other affected councils seeking their support in this matter, because some other councils may not be across this as possibly as much as they should be.
I'm just trying to make sure, Councillor Ward, that lines up with the recommendation, but I might just ask Joe, that should be right, shouldn't it? Thank you. Yes, we're right. Yes, Councillor Ward, so you're moving it with an amendment. Everyone's heard the amendment. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do we have any dissent? No? Those in favour? So carried. Right, we'll move on to community strengthening reports, and we'll start with 12.1, the local business advisory members' nominations. Moved by Councillor Manari. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do we have any dissent? Those in favour? So carried. Righto. So we have notices of motion. Notice of motion number 334, reduction in state government support for community sporting infrastructure. And that's yours, Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I won't read it out, but suffice to say I was alarmed and frustrated when the state government put out their Legislative Council's Economy and Infrastructure report, and it recognised that peri-urban councils on the fringe of Melbourne are fast-growing councils, and we needed access to additional funding to, as our expectation from our population was outpacing our revenue growth and capacity to build the infrastructure, and that we provided new infrastructure while maintaining existing assets. And there unfortunately was a significant financial shortfall due to the limited rate-raising capacity. So I was then alarmed to see when the state government came out compared to 22-23, where Moorabool Shire Council can provide via 2 funding streams for up to $143 million, that totaled $143 million that had dropped down to 20. So I think it's something that should be raised with the state government, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. So we have a motion. You're moving it. Do we have a seconder?
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do we have any dissent? Those in favour? So carried. Thank you. Right, councillors, now we'll move on to Mayor and Council reports. You've got a Mayor's report in front of you. Could I get someone to move it, please? Thank you, Councillor Berry. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Those in favour? So carried. Right, we'll move on to Council reports. If I can start with you, please, Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. One item to report. On Thursday, the 19th of June, I attended the Timber Towns meeting online, and at that meeting there were 2 very interesting presentations that were given. One was from a Mr Jason Ross, who is publisher of Wood Central, who spoke on the use of disseminating information and the use of Reddit. This is above my pay scale, Mr Mayor, as you'd appreciate, but I found it rather interesting that the reach that that does have and how it connects the connectivity that's through that mechanism. I thought maybe that's something that if we're not sort of considering that, we perhaps just look at to get council information out. The other the other item that we had a presentation was from Mr Vaughan Notting, who's Executive Manager of Infrastructure of the City of Ballarat. And this is a copy of the presentation. I've actually sent this into the organisation. Fundamentally, they're using, and they have been for a number of years, using nanotechnology in road rehabilitation and road construction. And they've just recently completed a major significant upgrade of Gillies Road, north of the freeway there, a section there which had broken down. And they're using this chemical preparation where it sort of helps bind the soil together and stabilise it. The thing that really caught my attention, Mr Mayor, as you would appreciate, is the conventional cost of this road would have been $2 million. This nanotechnology, 960,000. So this is quite significant, and I think it's, and they're proposing to roll this out even more. And I had a discussion with Mr Notting after the meeting, and he's more than willing to have our people talk to his people just to sort of see whether there's opportunities in this space. They've been, as I said, been trialling it for some years, starting off on gravel roads and car parks, and now they're branching into more these arterial roads. And as those who are familiar with Gillies Road, it's an arterial road, sub-arterial road, that carries about 8,000 vehicles a day. So it's a sort of a significant road and something that that they are investing in, and I think it's something that we should certainly explore the opportunities that may be available for Moorabool Shire. So thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Very interesting. Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. On the 6th of June, I attended the opening of the Rotary Art Show. On the 11th of June, I attended the Heritage Advisory Committee meeting. On the 19th of June, I attended the Grow West Implementation Committee. On the 24th of June, I attended the Tourism Midwest Industry Conference and Networking event, along with Councillor Minari, Councillor Berry and Vendetti Taylor. And on the 27th of June, I attended the Tiny Towns announcement in Dales Creek regarding the playground project. And on the same day, I attended the Tiny Towns announcement for Dales Creek, which was the shelter project. Oh, and also on the same day, the Blackwood Heritage Hub feasibility study. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Vendetti Taylor.
I'll try to just brief them because obviously we've got multiple councillors that have been to most of these. So obviously the Darley Play equipment was today. I'd like to congratulate the Platypus Society who now have 3 platypus up in the Letterdoog Library, which they look sensational, to be completely honest. Obviously with the Tidy Towns grants at Dales Creek and Blackwood, I was obviously present there as well. I did the judging of the Youth Arts Awards and went to the Youth Arts Awards at West Mattingley. The Aqualink opening as well. The citizenship at West Mattingley. Did a men's talk at the Uniting Church at Bacchus Marsh. Did the book launch at Blackwood Historical Society. Went to the opening of the Rotary Art Show. Went to the industry conference and networking event for Tourism Midwest. And I'd like to congratulate the Player Hotel in Murniong, who now have their function room open. Really well done to Mark and Ruth to get it to that stage, and it will only be an asset for Moorabool as a whole.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. You want to turn your light off? Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Minari, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I won't touch on all of the events that my fellow councillors also attended, but I will just talk on the Tourism Midwest Victoria conference that I attended. So it was in conjunction in collaboration with the Daylesford and Macedon Tourism Organisation, and obviously they are huge leaders in the tourism space and we can learn a lot from them. There was many speakers and they were all quite interesting, but although there's a lot of us in the room, there's also a lot of businesses in the room that are always looking at expanding their horizons and how they can grow their businesses. So it was great to see a lot of those people in the room, and they were sharing their stories on how it's the last couple of years have been very, very challenging in tourism, and there's not a great light yet at the end of the tunnel. So I think a lot of the speakers tried their very best to give as much, thought and information as they could to help out. But still lots of optimism in the room. Obviously with Moorabool, we are a day tripping destination, and that's where my head goes when I'm at these events and trying to pick up on anything that I can feed back. It was a very enjoyable day, and I think the standout for me was recognising the demographic of who's spending money, and that's definitely the boomers, and they really honed in on how people can sort of attract different demographics, not just the boomers. But obviously, thank you, boomers, for spending your money and travelling. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Minari, and the boomers. Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I like Councillor Minari. I won't go through my diary, but I thought it would be fitting. Tonight we've just passed two notices of motion for Hopeton Park North and also the Heritage Planning Overlay. I just wanted to recognise that that's been, and I'm probably understating it, it's been more than 5 years' work that's gone into that over thousands of hours by the staff, and it's been an incredible amount of work, and I just want to commend them on what they've done and the detail that's gone in it. I know I've read countless documents on this over the last 5 years, and well done to Henry and everyone that's been involved in the team. And I also wanted to, obviously the last 3 or 4 months have been there's been quite a bit of pressure and stress on everyone, including councillors, but I particularly wanted to congratulate James Hogan on the work he's done in getting his first budget through, Mr Mayor.
Well done. Thanks, Councillor Ward. Very good. Councillor Bigham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just want to, most of my fellow councillors attended the Youth Arts Awards on the 18th of June, and you put it together pretty well, where you talked about how art is a different expression by many people, and I guess those young people that have taken the time to express their version of art, express their version of themselves, and taking that time to make those submissions, I think they all need to be commended. Unfortunately, not everyone can win on the night. To those kids out there, don't let that get you down, and try again next year. Keep up the good work. I just wanted to mention, Not In Our Name, Scrap the Tax is holding another protest about this emergency service tax in Werribee. But I just want to end it off, and I'm not going to talk too long about it, but I think it's pretty important to talk about. Last month was Mental Health Week, or Men's Health Week, sorry, 9th of June to the 15th of June. When we talk about Men's Health Week, it's not all about eating well and exercising. Obviously, mental health is a big issue, and I guess mental health doesn't discriminate between males and females, but particularly in males. Unfortunately, males are brought up to believe me man, me strong, and talking about your feelings and opening up, and I don't know if anybody needs to hear this,
I'm not sure I do, Councillor Bicker, but
you might. It's seen as a moment of weakness, but it's not. Speaking up is not weakness. You know, I've unfortunately, a very close friend of mine, and I'm not going to cry about it, but a very close friend of mine, I thought he had the world. You know, he had a great job, he had a great family, he was getting job offers from all over the world. I thought he had the perfect life. But in not one time did he ever give me any feeling that, he would ultimately commit suicide. So basically what I'm just saying is speak up, ask your friends how they're doing, and I'll just leave it at that.
thank you, Councillor. I'll just remind councillors that when we're online, it's traditional that we don't talk about suicide in the wording. So I'd just like to note that. It's been a rule for many, many years. So, Councillor Berry, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's been a busy month for me. June has absolutely flown by. So on Friday the 6th of June I chaired the Peri-Urban Council's planning meeting. So we talked about next steps and where to now. We will work to continue our advocacy around the housing crisis and the enormous growth in Peri-Urban Councils, Victoria Shires and Australia-wide Peri-Urban Councils. On Friday the 6th of June evening, I attended the gala opening Bacchus Marsh Rotary Art Show, the amazing work once again by Rotary Club Bacchus Marsh. On Saturday the 14th of June, I attended with the Mayor the Peter Carey Short Story Awards and Moorabool Young Writers Awards at the Lerderderg Library, Bacchus Marsh. Fantastic efforts by all with over 500 entries, a lot of them are youth from our schools, which was fantastic. Well done to the staff for organising this event. In addition to that event, to the Short Story Awards, I was presented with a book from another local author, Matt Romania, who has written a book about the heart and soul of marketing, a strategic and practical guide for charity leaders, teams and volunteers. And Matt is hoping to make an audible version of his book, so congratulations to Matt, one of our residents in Darley. Tuesday the 17th of June I attended the Australian Citizenship Ceremony at West Manly Early Years Hub. It's great to see the use of this hub is getting a lot of use, and it's wonderful to see our new citizens embarking on their new chapters. Wednesday the 18th of June I judged the Youth Art Awards along with Mr Mayor and Councillor Venditti Taylor. Love the talented young artists in our Shire. Thursday the 19th of June I attended Grow West's Implementation Committee meeting. We heard lots about their planning day happening on July 20th. Trees play a vital role in mitigating climate change, improving air quality and preventing soil erosion. So councillors, if you want an invigorating Sunday outing, don your warm winter gear, and if you like gardening, bring your gloves and join in the planting day at 461 Monteville Lane, Balan, any time between 9:30 and 4 p.m. Lunch is provided if you come all day, and speeches are at 1 p.m. On Tuesday the 24th of June I attended the Blacksmiths Cottage and Forge Community Asset Committee meeting with Councillor Keogh. On Thursday the 26th at 7 a.m. in the morning I chaired the Peri-Urban Councils of Australia Roundtable in Canberra. This was organised by Peri-Urban Councils Victoria, leaders in advocating for PUCV issues. It has been established that all Australia Peri-Urban Councils have similar issues. This was our third national roundtable. Catherine King, Minister for Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Local Government, Australia requested PUCV from a prior meeting to bring back a definition of what Peri-Urban Councils mean. So in that meeting we discussed the high demand for housing in their rapidly growing municipalities and discussed considering an MOU to shape how the municipalities may work together. All councillors who attended agreed to take this information back to their state councils. Then the second meeting at 9:45 a.m. with Minister Christy McBain's advisor, Rebecca, confirmed that Peri-Urban Council's pre-budget submission document is still in the pipeline. So that was really good to hear, because we did a lot of work through state and federal, talking to many ministers about this document. So that was pleasing to see it's still in the pipeline with no decisions made yet. This document included a design around the framework for a future fund that aims to map how funding could meet the needs and purposes of the growth areas with peri-urban councils in Victoria and deliver just-in-time infrastructure rather than the delayed process associated with developer contribution plans, etc. The traction that PUCV has gained through this work is building, and so much so that I have this last week been interviewed as Peri-Urban Council Victoria Chair by ABC Ballarat, ABC Melbourne. We had an editorial in the Geelong Advertiser, then further radio announcements on returning from Canberra were with ABC Melbourne, Apple 98.5 FM, and I've been spoken to by 3AW, yet to be interviewed there. So Friday the 27th of June, it was exciting to attend the Tiny Towns funding announcements for Dales Creek Shelter Project and Blackwoods Hiking Hub feasibility study. This was announced by the member of Macedon, Marianne Thomas, and good to see our tiny towns receiving this funding. On Friday the 27th of June in the evening, attended the Youth Art Awards 2025 presentation. Congrats to MIF, the officer and team. Such a well-organised event to showcase budding young artists in our community. Saturday, June 28th, I attended the official opening of Aqualink Bike and Walk Track. Councillor Ali Minari and myself made the 5.4-kilometre walk event a chatterbox achievement, reaching Manly Park with ease. Well done to all who attended and completed the walk to the end, and congratulations to the Lions Club of Bacchus Marsh, who always cook a mean snag. And there was coffee provided as well. And then on Tuesday the 1st of July, I attended the Public Art and Collections Advisory Committee meeting with Councillor Ali Minari, and I have to say Councillor Minari does chair a mean meeting, and it was good to hear about all the public arts that are coming about when we saw it in its entirety, and that we are developing and growing in that area for council. At 10 a.m. today, I attended the official opening of the Darley Park Place space. This has become a very popular and well-used playground already before this opening, and yeah, thank you for this park and how it has grown and continues to have many community members using it. I've got Bill Hawken has been a long time owner of the Bacchus Marsh Farm Supplies, has sold due to retiring after dedicating 37 years of service to the local community. It is good to hear the business has been sold to some long-time locals. Bill's legacy will be missed. Congratulations to Bill, he deserves that well-earned list, and to the new owners who wish to continue with Bill's legacy as a successful business, bringing a fresh perspective, supporting farmers in our shire. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Now, Councillor Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll keep mine short.
Don't be handy.
Look, I have attended all scheduled meetings during this period, but on Friday the 6th of June I attended the Bacchus Marsh 53rd Anniversary Art Show and Sale. It was a wonderful and well-attended event. Notable winners included the winner of the Diana Gibson Award for Best Oil Painting in Show was Julia Mackie for her painting for motherhood, and the other winner of the Best Watercolour was Malcolm Webster for his Big Barn Dance. Terrific paintings. On Tuesday the 17th of June I attended 2 Australian citizenship ceremonies at Mattingley. It was a privilege to witness many residents take the oath to become Australian citizens, committing to our shared values and future. I warmly welcome them all. but as a small suggestion, it would even be more welcoming if council could offer a cup of tea or coffee alongside the traditional Tim Tams. And just to finish, many residents have approached me recently about the increase of speedsters are on the increase within the Shire. And actually I saw it firsthand just the other night when someone came down Clifton Drive, it was dark, 8 o'clock at night, flew through the roundabout, took out the lamppost, took out the new little tree that was there that we had planted, and also took out the roundabout sign and flew off, didn't stop. The police did attend, but unfortunately, I don't know whether, but that is happening increasingly. They tend to just fly over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Freeman. Just before we go to urgent business, I'll just note that on Friday we had a meeting with the Minister for Local Government. We were at the GBAC committee and there was a lot of healthy discussion about notices of motion, and the committee has been put forward to change basically meeting processes. Is of a mind to, at some point, remove notice of motion from our chamber and bring it in a more formalised process. So I'm just giving you a heads up that that could come through the pipeline at any time. So moving right along, I'll just sort of fill that out. Could I get someone to move the... Councillor, thank you. Someone to second it. Thank you, Councillor Keogh. Those in favour? So carried. For those who missed it, was Councillor Bingham that moved it. So, right, now we'll go to urgent business, and I know Councillor Sullivan pre-warned us on some questions, and I assume everyone's...
No, I just sort of... I only just printed off a handful, Mr Mayor. So,
thank you, Councillor.
I think
it does make it easier. It does make
self-explanatory. Councillors, I just have some questions, 6 questions in total that all relate to the same matter, that is non-potable water the council has. I'll read through the questions. They're all sort of quite simple.
Just for a second, Councillor Minari, sorry, did you want one?
I was confused where are we at?
Sorry, urgent business. Right, okay. So but these are just questions prior to urgent business.
Well,
yes, sort of.
Well, it's not a formal motion, really, just some questions I have, and I'll just put them on notice. I'll start with question 1, councillors.
We don't need to accept the urgent business because it's just some questions.
Yeah.
But at some point we may. Yes. Sorry, Councillor.
Thank you. First question.
Sorry, Councillor Sullivan. Sorry. Do we have an item? Yeah, we're up to urgent business.
Yeah, we're going around the table.
Yes, that's what we're doing, yes. Yeah, sorry. Right. Sorry, Councillor Sullivan, my apologies.
The anticipation is building, Mr Mayor.
I know, I think it's going to be great when it comes out, especially when we see the movie.
First question. Let's stop the frivolity. What is Moorabool Shire Council's annual water allocation from Southern Rural Water? Second one, how much does council pay annually to Southern Rural Water for that water? Third question, does council receive and use its full annual entitlement? Fourth question is, where does council use the water? What are the volumes of water used on the various sites that the water is used? 5, do other groups use this water that belongs to council, and if so, how is it allocated? Are meters used to determine the volume of water used by other groups? And 6, if other groups use the water belonging to council, how do they pay and how is the volume determined and payment collected? So they're the 6 questions. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. So what we'll do, we'll forward them on and they'll come back through a response.
Well, I think I thought it was appropriate to put them in writing because it's taken on notice. There's a lot of information to be requested there, so thank you.
I feel a briefing in that somewhere, I think, possibly as well.
I'll leave it in your cape.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Right, Councillor Keogh, any urgent business?
I have no order report, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Mendetti-Taylor.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Minari.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Ward.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Bingham.
No urgent business, Mr Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. I feel like this is urgent business item as there are accidents occurring with kangaroos, mobs of kangaroos are moving in closer to closer to particularly Bacchus Marsh Avenue of Honour and destroying crops. I did get contact from one of the farmers there, and also out the Darley side, where I now found out today there was a kangaroo hit a lot around Hallett's Way area.
Right, so we'll just firstly have to accept the urgent business.
Yep.
So, councillors, Councillor Berry is requesting urgent business. Do we have someone to second that? Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Those in favour? Has to be unanimous. So carried. Councillor Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, residents, including a business, have raised a very dangerous kangaroo mob situation where mobs of kangaroos are up to 25 have been sighted on vacant land at the end of Telford Park off Albert Street, Darley, and have been known to be travelling on footpaths and roads en route to this area from Hallett's Way, Darley. There have been near misses by vehicles and children on bikes. A lettuce farmer has reported mobs destroying and eating their crops in the Avenue of Honour, Bacchus Marsh. The farmer has attempted to contact DECA several times with no reply. There has never been such a kangaroo problem as we have now, so close to roads, a local primary school, our own council Darley hub office and a food source that supplies to various parts of Victoria and beyond. This is a growing concern for many residents and vehicles. So my motion that Council 1 writes to DECA to ask what DECA have in place for managing mobs of kangaroos that are a growing concern accessing our streets in Darley and Bacchus Marsh. And number 2, receives a report back to Council on the outcome of DECA's response.
Thank you, Councillor Berry. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Any dissent? Those in favour? So carried.
Thank you.
All right. So we go to you, Councillor Freeman. Any urgent business?
No urgent business. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Freeman. Okay, councillors. Before we go, we'll have to adjourn the meeting and then we'll shut off the live stream to move into confidential. So can I have someone move to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Thank you, Councillor Berry. Those in favour? So carried. So we'll have we only need a couple of minutes.
Just for the record, councillors, we have to record up until the point that we move to go into confidential. As soon as we go into confidential, it will no longer record.
Well done, Joe. Thank you, Councillor Minari, for bringing that up. I've caught you with food. Sorry. I will go to someone else for someone to move us back in the meeting. Thank you, Councillor Bingham. Seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Those in favour, so carried. Away we go. Could I get someone, please, and it won't be Councillor Minari, to move us into confidential? Thank you, Councillor Berry. Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Those in favour, so carried. Now we'll wait till the red light stops flashing.